Hey there, my name is Pravus. Welcome to more Kingdoms Reborn in New Jokyo. In the last video, we actually had a lot of difficulties, but somehow managed to find some footing, and we got our population above 315. We even were able to get into the Enlightenment Age, which is opening up a lot of really good features. For example, we now can start boosting up our production by doing a bit of financial shenanigans, paying a bit of extra upkeep for extra goods. Which is difficult, but, you know, I mean, as long as we produce enough stuff that I can sell the excess, we should still end up making a pretty hefty profit, even though our taxes do not look absolutely phenomenal. And I am trying to make sure we get plenty of extra tuna over here per batch, because, obviously, the more tuna we have, the better we can make more sushi, and food is still the main concern in this game. Though, tools are rapidly becoming a problem as well, and they have been for a bit, but I'm hoping we'll get some more blacksmiths up and running this video, and that will start to take care of itself. I hope. Maybe. Kind of. A little bit. We'll see. One thing I did realize I made as a mistake in the last video is I focused my research on the wrong stuff. We got things like theaters, which, like, I mean, cool. Happiness is nice and all. But what I should have been doing is working toward the ramen shop. So I've now got the coffee roaster, we'll get the cattle ranch, and we'll start working toward this. This works the exact same way as the sushi, and then it takes rice and a different protein, and it starts making us some excess food, in this case, pork. And pork, I think, is going to be a far more consistent food source than the fish has been. So as long as we make stupid amounts of rice and get lots of pigs, I'm hoping that means we'll have another way of supplementing a lot of my food gain. Down over just south of the town, we have managed to place down some irrigation pumps as a new technology, which means we can open up a whole new farming area. The way this is supposed to work is you want to get farms that are, I think it's 8 by 16. So what we should do is plan out, let's say, some irrigation pumping. We actually probably don't need it right here now that I think about it. Hold on. Let's get a farm right there. That's 127. We'll get another one over here, which is 123? No, 126 right here should be fine. Then we'll go ahead and place down some irrigation ditches along like this, and we'll place down another farm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 128. There we go. Remember, you want to work in multiples of 64. So as long as you're placing down farms that are that size, you should be able to get maximum fertility, and it's a very easy, just kind of block pattern you can set up with your irrigation pumps. Gets a lot of food that way. Some kind of like this should be fine. We have to leave ourselves some room for a rice breeder toward the center, and actually, instead of a warehouse, far better to get myself a granary. Don't forget those. Very important. We'll need to get ourselves some more housing down here, but that's not the top priority. We'll just go ahead and lay out that infrastructure and hope for the best. Tools, still struggling, man. Always struggling with the tools. What are we actively trading for right now, by the way? Still looks like we're buying fish. Again, we can never have enough fish. But we're making some profit over here, which is nice. Selling off excess coal and tulips has certainly been good for me. I'm surprised we cannot make enough pottery to save our life. I mean, we are not producing enough, like, to meet the needs of our entire population. Or rather, sorry, we are producing enough. We're producing an excess, and yet somehow I'm not actually ever seeing an excess here. Like, look at this. Producing 280, consuming 150. Seems kind of weird that we never have any around, huh? Well, we'll just go ahead and ask some extra workers over here, and at least that's probably going to help. One small problem. There is a limit to how far your irrigation pump can actually, you know, pump. So as we're seeing here, this is about where the water stops. So my hopes of extending a bit around here is not going to be a thing. I don't actually remember what the exact limitation is. We could probably count, but meh, I'm lazy. So over here, let's go ahead and farm out tons and tons of rice. I'm going to set down a whole bunch of additional pig ranches. And as soon as we're done with the ramen, we'll go ahead and set up a big cooking area right here. And hopefully this becomes a fantastic solution for our food problems. I say hopefully, because at this point I kind of almost am giving up hope. Oh look, everyone's starving again. Well, it's late summer. We'll be harvesting very soon. If you guys can wait for just a minute before you all die, that would be great. Oh, nope, some people are leaving already. Well, there you go. Yeah, we barely have enough food to survive through the winter nowadays. That is such a huge freaking problem. Oh well, at least if we're going to continue expanding our population, as we are over here with these houses, they're all for the purpose of making food. When in doubt, if you're going to bring more people in, put them on food, and you can figure out the rest of your industry from there. Hello, ramen shop. Okay, nothing else here actually matters that much. What about later on? Machinery would be pretty good for the wood harvesting yield. I don't care about making my own gold right now. The bank would be great. Do want to pick that up. Museums, okay. Zoo, whatever. Let's go over the global footprint, and at least those 2 techs are going to be useful going forward. Do I want to buy a ramen shop? Oh my gosh, yes I do. Thank you for asking. Let's make sure we grab some hauling services, because we're going to need some of that. I, of course, need to get myself a warehouse, and we can store a lot of stuff in here. And then it's ramen shop time. Perfect. Okay, so like the sushi bar, this does require some upgrade points to get the boosts. And actually, now that we have level 5's houses in the city, this is actually pretty good, so we'll do some umami recipes that way. This takes 7 workers? Good lord. All right, well, we'll go ahead and toss in a sustainability book, which actually helps quite a lot. From 19 and 19 down to 13 and 13, we get 115 ramen out of that? Whoa, okay. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot. The question is, how quickly does it work? I'm going to go to this storage over here, and we're going to deliberately turn off certain things and leave only pork and rice and the ramen on here. All right, that way, this storage is hopefully going to be a preferred storage for just about everybody. And of course, we'll place down 3 more of these because you always want to build in 4s early on if you can. That at least gets you a small efficiency boost. The funny thing is, even if I chose not to build these at all, right, I could just turn these off here. And we already get an efficiency boost simply by having combo level 2. So that's a funny thing. If you're willing to spend some of the gold just to get the cards, or in my case, just copy-paste, it is an easy way of boosting up the efficiency even if you don't have the labor to work more than 1. Kind of weird, but whatever. Something else that I really should do that would boost up the efficiency of my entire town is place down stone roads everywhere. For that to work, I'm going to need my quarries really up and a run, and we've got 18,000 or so stone there still. We could set up ourselves another quarry, and I don't think that that is a bad plan, to be honest. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. I'm going to need a lot of stone. Ideally produce up to about 1,000 if we have some excess workers. Hopefully we'll start seeing that stone jump up, and then I'll place down some stone roads on the main highways, boosting up everybody's speed, which means resources get around where they need to go a little bit faster. When in doubt, infrastructure upgrades. They can be worthwhile. Now, the income here is looking pretty bad. We could raise taxes, go up to a high tax rate. It doesn't tell you, like, up front exactly what this does. I wish it told you exactly how it changes the tax rate and the happiness up front. It doesn't, though. You can see, though, that our money has gone up and that our happiness is indeed going down. The city attractiveness drops the higher the taxes are. Could boost that a little bit over here at the policy office and stuff, but, like, meh, I guess? I don't know. It doesn't matter too much. So, for example, this is a major highway. We go ahead and place down a lot of stone straight through the middle of the town. Yeah, that's 134 stone. This is going to get a little bit expensive, but that extra, what is it, 10, 20% movement speed, it adds up. It doesn't seem like it does, but it totally does. Oh, and a lot of people are starving. Here comes the next drop, yay. Oh, boy, did that one hurt. Okay, yep, we hit another death spiral. There's the crash. I was wondering why I can't get enough people to work any of the other jobs, and that's the reason why. Okay. Well, the good news is my consumption just dropped, so we have a small chance to reset ourselves. At least a bit. Gosh dang it. You know what's amazing to me? Hold on. We have been producing only a few hundred sushi, and we're already making more ramen than we were sushi, and I don't even have everyone working down here yet. Well, actually, no, I do now. We have enough population back. We bounce back pretty quick, don't we? But anyway, the point is, Sushi, what is wrong with you? You were supposed to be the chosen one, and instead you've been nothing but a disappointment. Oy vey. All right, well, one thing we're going to go ahead and do is start importing some paper. Now, I could manufacture my own paper, and considering we make an absolute ton of lumber, would be the worst idea I've ever had if I can get the population to spare, but it's a very low priority. But with things like paper, I should be able to start upgrading, let's say my blacksmith, get some extra productivity for every house level 4+, up to maximum 30%. Those little boosts can be nice. Get the blacksmith guild, that's another 20% right there, blah, blah, blah. It's expensive, I know, but we need every little boost we can get, dang it. Good news is our population has already recovered. It's been 1.5, 2 years. That's the cool thing. It doesn't really matter how much we die. As long as we have enough, ultimately, food production and the infrastructure set up, we bounce back really, really quickly. which is great. I'm never going to complain about that. And notice, by the way, that even though I've been in the red in my coins for a while, the amount of excess goods that we've been selling is keeping me afloat pretty effectively here. As long as we don't oversell on anything I need, and we don't overbuy on too many of other things, we're looking okay. The bank is done. Okay, that's going to be good. With machinery, I think that'll be a good time to go ahead and try to start working on some furniture production as a new form of luxuries, since we, again, can't seem to keep up on tier 1s. I knew I wasn't going to have many in tier 2s, right? I kind of didn't expect for things like the bonsai production to keep up, and it definitely has been a low priority whenever we lost workers, so unsurprising there, we have not been able to maintain a lot of level 5 houses. At least we were able to get up to the Enlightenment era while we did. That said, we are going to need more at some point, but if I can't keep my tier 1s under control, we have no business moving on to tier 2. I mean, unless I want to make a lot of money. You know, that's not a bad idea either. Unfortunately, this bank is going to do me no good until I can get level 5 houses, though. Huh. Yeah, I want to have banks, but turns out that's jumping the gun just a little bit. Okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Whatever, it is what it is. Well, no, actually, you know what? Here's something interesting. Sushi is actually producing a lot more all of a sudden. Because we had that very brief reset with our population, people prioritized eating the ramen and the sushi, and thereby left enough resources just long enough that I could make more, and we started to catch up a little bit over here. So that's actually one of the advantages of having 2 different forms of food here that are going to be priorities to eat. And yes, by the way, it is something hard-coded into the game. The devs have confirmed this, that they will prioritize eating a food that cannot be used as an input for another building. So in theory, when given the choice between sushi and ramen and rice, the people will always choose sushi and ramen and leave the rice. As long as you grossly, overly, excessively produce the 2 processed foods, people will eat those. That's the critical mass you're shooting for. Produce enough of this that they leave your raw resources alone so you can take advantage of the better resource, and then you have the excess food. But if you're scrambling, right, still trying to meet basic food needs, well, then there's nothing for it. They're going to eat the raw goods. You're never going to get sushi and ramen off the ground. Frustrating, but that's just the way of things, and it does make sense. Just wish there was an easier way to control it aside from just raw overproduction. Okay, food is actually starting to turn around. This is good. I think we're getting closer and closer to that critical mass, even though my population should have... it's actually evening out, which is good. But it's eclipsed where we were before we had that death spiral, and it's actually because we haven't built any more houses. That's the funny thing. As long as you don't build more houses, yeah, some people will leave once in a while, blah, 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 blah. But the important thing is you don't increase in population more than you want to. So now we're catching back up on food, which is good. I'm actually seeing a slight surplus of things like ramen and sushi. The more I see this build up, the happier I'm going to be. We're getting the stone roads, we're getting a lot of other stuff. We're still not very good at making enough medicine, but the herbs at least are looking pretty okay. Yeah. This is starting to turn around. Heck, we're even starting to produce a little bit of excess pottery. Not much, but a little bit. Good. All right. So we're going to be placing down some foresters over in these directions. And I think it's time for us to go ahead and start placing down some furniture. Oh, and most importantly, it looks like we're finally producing enough tools, thank you God. That's actually probably one of the reasons we're seeing our production across the board go up. We finally have enough gosh dang tools. Yay! I'm gonna go ahead and spend some money to rush these furniture workshops. I suspect, there we go, we're going to get an advanced furniture workshop option. Which, I mean, we could also use to export kind of like the sake. And honestly, I don't know that I necessarily need this, but you know, we haven't messed with any of the advanced buildings yet, and I feel like now's a good time to try. So let's plan on that. Let's go ahead and start placing down a few of these advanced furniture workshops, and we'll see just how good these puppies really are. Okay, so there's the first one right there. 88 wood becomes 71 furniture. Overall, still a decent value, and that's a huge amount. Wow, 16 workers each? Okay, we can only afford to build, like, maybe 2 of these to start. But okay, right, with enough boosts, this is, oh yeah, the 50% extra boost right there, just from having full employment is pretty substantial by itself. Minimalism helps, and we can do Furniture Town as well, and we can boost this up and so on. Yeah, 64 now becomes 104. That's a pretty massive profit boost for us, and of course 10% extra exports if we want to do that. Now that said, I don't think we have enough population to do anything over there for a bit, so we're just gonna have to ignore that for a while. Let's see, what else can we do that might help a little bit? Are there any cards that would make a big difference right now? Cannabis, blah, blah, blah. Lots of different breeders we could do. Food happiness and food consumption. Yeah, like that's a terrible plan. Coals give more heat, don't care. More tulips, maybe. We don't do anything with beer. This needs to be updated, by the way, to be beer or sake, just because I feel like that's going to be helpful. Homebrew for extra science could be nice. Slave labor. No, that's not going to help me much either. If we have 1,000 coal, our smelters are better. We have that, but I don't know if that's going to do me a lot of good. And then smelters are better. Productivity for mines if you have blacksmiths. No. None of that really helps me, if I'm completely honest. We could spend huge amounts of money to get myself a resource outpost, which extracts resources from foreign provinces. Could use that to start getting either more tulips or cannabis or something like that. Eventually things like gems and other ores. I mean, that could be kind of useful. The only downside is it obviously costs a lot of money in terms of first off buy, and then second in terms of upkeep. So we're not there yet. The Hot Spring Inn is new. Increases surrounding appeal by 50 within 30 tile radius. Huh. I don't need that because appeal is not as important. I can do shrubs and stuff for that. What I would want is something that can get me more, like, entertainment value. But cool, at least, that exists. I'm sure it looks awesome. Now, this is weird. My population's trending down. Huh? Wait, why would my population be trending down? I have extra food. People shouldn't be freezing to death. We have medicine. Why is this trending down? I don't know, but okay. All the more reason to crank up the immigration. This is weird. My population is still dropping. The game's no longer telling me why people are going away if they're dying, but like 5 people just disappeared. Hold on. Is there something weird going on where, like, one of the other civilizations is, like, kidnapping my people or something weird like that? They're up to having cannons. I've done literally nothing on that front and didn't intend to. But now I'm wondering if there's some sort of weird shenanigans going on over here. Part of the issue is I've got less working adults, but a lot of children. We're having a spike of births. I don't know why. I am also seeing a lot of houses downgrading right now. That's because I literally don't have enough working adults to go around and actually work things like the pottery jobs, so we're not even making some of our luxuries anymore. So it's weird. We've solved one problem, sort of. I mean, we have a huge excess of food all of a sudden. The deep sea tuna, by the way, has really come in handy all of a sudden. I don't know how that happened, but okay. But I no longer have enough working adults to actually manage all the different jobs that I've got. It's a bit weird, right? Part of the problem is I have too many farms. Like, I'm looking at my population over here, and yeah, a lot of my people are currently set up to work specifically on food, which is good, right? That sounds like a good idea. However, it's coming at the downside of a lot of my other things not being able to work. Like, I need blacksmiths, for example. I need to continue making tools. We're going to continue having some problems. I could import tools, yes, and that is an option, but, like, I would like to continue making that, but everything else has shut down. All non-food production has stopped because I do not have enough adults to go around. Weird how that has happened. Okay. This does mean we're going to have a population boom very soon. Like, these children are going to come of age, and then all of a sudden be like, I've got more workers than I know what to do with. But honestly, I'd rather have that problem than not enough. Let's be honest. And the good news, at least, of having too many farms is during the winter time, everyone goes back to work everywhere else. So I am producing some things, sort of, but it's all seasonal. The weird balancing act is I still need, enough adults to work all the industries, to get all the tools, and the more adults I have, the more we consume, and blah, 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 blah. There may very well come a point where I actually am going to have to accept that I've hit critical mass, and I'm not going to continue focusing on making food, but rather focus on luxuries that make tons of money and start buying food that way. It's really hard to get to that point at the high difficulties. Early in the game, like if you're first starting out and you're playing on an easy difficulty, Rather than make a lot of your own food, what you should do is focus on making the best luxuries you can as aggressively as you can, right? And then you'll just use the raw capitalist profit to buy food. Who cares about making food when you can just buy it and still walk away happy, right? It's just with the consumption rate being as high as it is, you need so much food that it kind of kills your profit margin. So it takes a lot longer to reach, I think, that critical mass. Still what I'm working toward. It is the overall goal. It's just, it's going to take a while to get there still. The good news is we're now starting to get some advanced furniture in, and we get huge amounts there. 138 there's not bad. So as long as we can produce a heck of a lot more than we are going to consume, which should not be very difficult, we should be able to start selling the excess, and once I have a good profit margin coming out of there, maybe we start buying food, free up some labor, continue working on this, and just make more and more and more of this stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Of course, this has to come in conjunction with a whole bunch of foresters and stuff too, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know. We're getting there. Food is, once again, starting to drop. I'm telling you, man, it is just such a rough balancing act no matter what you do. I don't mean to sound like I'm just a big complainer, okay? I'm just simply pointing out this is surprisingly difficult, okay? And I want you all to understand and appreciate what I'm trying to do here. Since we are making so much deep sea tuna, I'm going to go ahead and start placing down some extra sushi bars around some of those areas just to make some more local food. I don't want to accidentally fall into a situation where I don't have my advanced foods and we go back to eating all the raw ingredients and then I lose this. Like right now, the only reason we have this much extra food is because we finally got around that little milestone. As long as I keep that going, we're okay. But if we don't, I'll bet you anything, we're going to crash through our food supply really quickly and we hit one of those death spirals. And I'd really rather avoid it. But as far as jobs are concerned, we are now starting to get back into making things like pottery. The markets are running. We almost have enough adults to run all of the jobs. That's good. One thing that would help is to set some more production targets where possible. Because if we ever do hit enough of a particular good, I'd rather free up the labor to go somewhere else. That's one way we'll get to the lesser used jobs. Case in point, the iron smelter. Whenever we have enough of the iron bars, we stop working it. That's 10 more people that can go work somewhere else. Oh yeah, we're making plenty of furniture now. Okay, good. All right, excellent, excellent, excellent. Another thing that we can auto-export. And remember, the more of these we build, up to I think it's about 8, the more money we get. So this is a literal moneymaker for me. How are we doing on our lumber? We are producing more than we consume, at least for now. That's good. Herbs are looking fine. Still can't produce enough medicine to save my life. Tools, still not enough, man. It's never freaking enough. Gosh dang. It's fine. When in doubt, brute force it. More of these blacksmiths, dang it. I don't have enough people to go around for all these jobs constantly, but if I ever can get out of having iron tools, out of stone tools, we can free up another 8 laborers over here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and commit and start reducing this at least a bit because I really want the iron tools, dang it. Notice we have no children now, by the way. It's got to have something to do with when I place down some housing and stuff. That would make sense. This is reminiscent of a game like Banished, right? You know, you place down houses, that's how you get people to actually start having kids. That's why you don't want to place down massive neighborhoods all at once. You want to just add on like 1 or 2 houses at a time. So I'm betting those peaks with the children corresponds with when I've added a lot of extra housing. And now my population of working adults is starting to drop again because I don't have enough replacement children. Okay, no, it's fine. We'll just slowly keep adding to the housing market. It's fine. I do really want to advance the next age, but as you can see, we need level 6 housing, and I can't even consistently get level 5 houses. We only have 2 left. Ouch. And that's what happens when we don't have any more tier 2 luxuries. What kind of luxuries could I make that would help this? Well, let's see. Candles are an option. You can use honey to get food, plus you can use the wax to go ahead and make the candles, so that's not bad. Vodka, no. Wine, no. Clothes, maybe. Spices, no. Tequila, magic mushrooms, coffee, glassware, carpets, honey mead, green tea. So we learned about this a while ago, but I've not done anything with green tea as of yet. There are some green tea breeders. I suppose we can start experimenting with this. This is a good spot right over here. And we can turn this into a giant farming area and start making dang tea. Of course, this is more labor going into farmers, which is like what we're not supposed to do anymore. But it's fine. It's fine. And since I have an excess of funds, let's make sure we keep doing some upgrades. More economic hegemony, national pride, etc. I don't know, anything that just kind of soaks away some of the extra money. That's an extra 3% income or a production bonus for everything across the board. I mean, like, with a city as large as what we've got right now, I feel like that's got to be worth a fair bit. And now we're harvesting green tea. Let's see how much I end up making out of all of these fields. The answer is quite a lot. 2,500? We haven't even finished gathering everything up yet, but that's a lot more than I would have expected. Okay. And we only consumed 84, so we'll see how much this actually goes. Yeah, there's more down here that hasn't even been gathered yet. In theory, we just solved our tier 2 problem, at least temporarily. So we should see a lot of houses jumping back up to level 5, which we do see right about now, which means we can grab the glassworks instantly. And now we need to think about how we're going to get ourselves more T2 luxuries and stay on top of the existing T1s we've already got because we've consumed literally all of them. Oh, okay, yeah, what a fun balancing act this be. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time in New Jokyo.